Hi, it's Sarah of Get Weaving. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about making a plied thread from lots of very fine threads that maybe you wouldn't be able to use on your rigid heddle loom otherwise. It's the weft in this piece of fabric, and somebody sent me a question and said, can you explain a little bit more about how you make those multiply threads? So that's what I'm going to try and do. This is the thread, and when I took it to bits, it's two lots of 4 very fine threads that have been spun Z and then plied together S. So I took it apart. They're really, really fine threads, almost like sewing threads. I got them from the guild. I would never have been able to weave with them. I don't know where they came from. Very fine. I'll just show you those. These are 4 of them, what they look like. So what I did was plied 2 sets of 4 threads each, spun them first Z, which is clockwise, and then plied the 2 sets of 4 S, which is anti-clockwise, to make that thread. I'm going to be using this little electric wheel. It's the EEW6. It's brilliant. You can obviously do this on any spinning wheel, but I've got this because it's easy to put the whole thing on a table, and it has this wonderful foot pedal which I should put on the floor in a minute, so I can set it all up. I can set the speed, I can set the twist, I can set the draw in, use it with my foot to stop and start, and that way my hands are completely free. And also it's brilliant because it just sits on the top of the table. I have 3 spools of cotylene, which actually isn't as fine as the ones I were using, but I'm just doing this to show you. And I've looped them through the loop on the EW6, and I've got it set. Oh, can't see it, it's too dark. No, this can. I've got it set at Z. So I'm using the foot pedal, and I'm running the 3 cotylene strands together. They're running through Z, which is clockwise. You could obviously do this on your spinning wheel, but I'm doing this at the moment because it all fits on the table. And then if I stop, you can see it's very twisty. That's what it's going to look like when it's plied together. So if I do 2 sets of these, then I will ply them in the opposite direction, which is S, and I'll get a really nice plied thread. So these are the 3 singles yarns. Well, I say singles, they're already plied actually, but it's cotylene, so that's how they look. And then they're going onto the electric wheel, and this is what they look like when I let go. So they look like that when they're all twisted Z. And then if I let go, they want to twist around each other, so they go in the opposite direction. Oops, there we go. Isn't that nice? So you could use 3 different colours, 3 similar colours. The only thing I would suggest is that you use the same type of fibre. So I wouldn't mix a very stretchy one with like wool and cotton or something like that. So you could use 3 or 4 similar colours like this. These are the types that I got from the guild box. They're really, really fine, almost like sewing thread. So you could go through your stash and mix 3 or 4 similar colours, or I've got some sewing threads that my sewing machine doesn't like for some reason. I'm going to try spinning those together and then plying them in sets, see how that works. And then I've also got a really nice box of metallic threads, so I might try putting one of those in as well. So lots of choice here. The other thing I might try and show you is this bobbly yarn. So same two pairs plied together, but I was pushing loops or bobbles onto one. I'll see if I can do that. I've deliberately chosen 3 different colours with the other set to ply. Oops, there's a bobble in there, never mind. So I've got 2 pinks and a sort of mustardy goldy colour. And you can see I'm just running them onto the bobbin. It's hard to say what sort of twist I'm putting in. It's a fair amount, because they're going to be plied, which is going to take out all the extra twists. So I've got 3 colours here. And I'm going to do enough so that I can ply the 2 sets of 3 together and push one onto the other to get the bobbles. And I'm hoping, because the 2 pairs, if you like, 2 sets are different colours, that I should get different colour bobbles. I actually haven't done this before, so that's going to be fun. Right, I think that should be enough. These are the 3 other colours, and this is what it looks like when they're twisted together. And again, that's Z. And then when I let go, that's how it looks if I plied 2 sets of this together. So it's nice, you can choose your own colours, you can invent your own yarn. As I said, this is brilliant. My weaving on my rigid heddle loom, the finest I ever really do is 12.5 to the inch. So doing this makes a really nice weft. You could also use it as the warp, it's certainly strong enough. So I'm going to try now plying S, these 2 sets of threads together. So I've got my 2 pairs. This is one. Ignore this bit, this was something I was doing earlier. And this is the other set. So I'm going to take these 2 together and ply them. So I've got my EW6 all ready to go. And I'm going to switch it from Z to S so that it's ready for plying. To start, I've got a loop on the end of my leader. I've got the 2 pairs here in my hand. I'm going to put them through that loop, and then when I start the wheel, it will hold them together. There we go. So I let a little bit of twist run into that to start with. So this is going to be taking out all the extra twist, and I'm letting this run through faster than when I was doing the sets. Now the way to test if you've got enough twist, too much twist, let it hang. That's not bad. That's taken out the extra twist and it's not super twisty itself. That's all right. So I think I've got the tension on that about right. Now I'm going to see if I can put the bobbles on. That's going to take I don't know if I can show you that. So what I'm going to be doing is, oops, sorry, this is what happens when you a bit low tech, never mind. So start the wheel, and then what I do is I've got them in separate hands and I push one on, see the bobbles? Keep going. Now if I push one set on, I get one coloured set of bobbles. If I swap hands, then I get a different set of bobbles. That's all I'm doing is sliding it on. I'm afraid I can't slow this down. What I do need to do is stop this a minute and tighten up the tension because it's not drawing on quick enough. So you see what's happened. It's very, very twisty now. So I've tightened up the tension. It's probably because I'm fiddling around trying to put these bobbles on and talk at the same time. So I've tightened the tension up on the wheel. That'd be better. That's better. Stop dithering. Alright, and I'm pushing those bobbles on. You have to get a move on. There's also something called knots, but that's another step. Whoops, come to the end. Now, if I alternate between one colour and the other, it should mean that I end up with different colour bobbles, but also I've used the same amount of the two pairs. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of one too quickly. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to wind it off and show you what it looks like. So I've been trying to show you how I made this bobbly yarn. So there are 2 sets of 4 threads. The 4 threads have been twisted together Z, plied together S. And then when I'm weaving, it gives this nice texture in here. And it's only a very small sample, but this is how it's come out. It's not brilliant because I was trying to do this and talk at the same time, but you can see it's got these little bubblies on it. That's the pink ones, obviously, and then the orange ones are here. It's slightly over twisted because, as I said, I was talking and trying to do this at the same time, but I hope you got the general idea of that anyway. So again, as briefly as I can, 3 or 4 threads, or even 2 threads, twisted together on your wheel in the Z direction. Then when you've got your, obviously you need several bobbins for this, so you'll need 2 bobbins, 1 for each set, and then another bobbin to ply it on. So you could use very fine threads. I'm going to try my next one with sewing thread. And then they are plied, which is in the S direction. If you actually draw an S in mid-air, you can see it starts off going anti-clockwise. And they need to run onto the wheel faster. And you can push bobbles on if you like at the same time. So with this piece of weaving, I've got some sort of non-bobbly bits. I thought that made a bit of a nice difference. And today I'm wearing JA003, which is woven on a rigid heddle loom with the variable reed. So in the warp you've got rags, you've got thick cotton, and yes, I did put rags in the warp. I cut them and then stitched them together as flat as I could. Lots of different sorts of cottons. The variable reed's brilliant. I did an article for the Ashford Wheel magazine. I'll see if I can dig it out. And this is JA003, simple jacket, edge to edge. Button and loop to do it up. Now the only thing is, this is one of my patterns and it comes in 2 different sizes. So one size is small to XL, one size is 2X to 5X. So if you do order this one, make sure you order the right size. Very frustrating otherwise. Anyhow, happy weaving. I hope I hope that's helped a bit. I'm sorry if the lighting was a bit dodgy. The sun keeps coming and going today. Have a good day. Bye now.